Just kneel down and take it! Yeah, take your punishment! Kneel and worship your masters! My mornings at school usually start like this, and I don't really know how to escape it. I had no one to turn to. No parents, no friends. But I still had to go to school. I had to make something of myself. And if it meant I had to kneel every morning and worship a couple of bratty bullies, then so be it. But sometimes, I kinda wish I was someone else. Sometimes, I wish I wasn't poor and orphaned and friendless. Hi everyone, my name's Amir. After that humiliating ceremony in the boys' room, I was allowed to go out and get ready for my first class. And people usually stared, some from pity, others because they wanted to mock me. People usually did. If it wasn't for the fact that I was those two bullies' servant, it was because I was such an awkward kid who didn't know how to talk to people. The girls laughed at me because I was poor and had holes in my clothes. The guys made fun of me for never having a girlfriend. Everyone else made fun of me because I was an orphan. Even some of the teachers hated me. They complained that I caused most of the disturbance in their classes. I guess in some sense it was true. The disturbances usually happened because some kids would pull pranks on me during class. They would pull my chair or throw my desk out the window. Once, they even shaved my eyebrows off when I made the mistake of falling asleep during history. But all that changed one day. One fateful day, many, many years into the future, I found a woman who was willing to marry me. But she only wanted to do so because she wanted to spend every single cent of what I earned. I overlooked that and told myself I was lucky to even have a fiancé. So, I decided to marry her. On our wedding day, though, before we could say our vows, a black car suddenly skidded to a halt right next to our venue. The car door opened wide, and without a word, two ladies in black suits grabbed me and forced me into one of the seats. I was too scared to even speak or object. I'm not ashamed to admit that I was utterly scared for my life. But all that fear suddenly turned into something else. Because after the scary car ride, I saw that they'd brought me to an airstrip, and there was a private jet there. What kind of kidnapper kidnaps someone and then flies him on a private jet? I was welcomed by a bunch of people who bowed at the sight of me. They smiled at me, and I felt like they were really, really happy to see me. I was so confused. But more than anything, I was filled with wonder. I was in an entirely different world. On the plane, I was met with more smiles, and the most luxurious seat I had ever seen in my life. Even the remote control for the in-flight entertainment was plated in 24-karat gold. The flight attendant sent over a very impressive chef who told me he would make any meal I wanted. So, I asked for a French toast with ice cream and chocolate syrup. I had always wanted to know what French toast tasted like, but I was always too poor and too busy to have anything but cereals for breakfast. And when I took the first bite, I kid you not, I felt like I was in heaven. Partly because when I looked out my window, I saw nothing but clouds. It was my first time being on a plane. After the meal, the flight attendant led a lady all in white to my seat. Then she started massaging my shoulders, my back, my legs. Oh, it felt so good. And the oil was so fragrant that it didn't take 10 minutes for me to fall into a deep, restful sleep. It was probably the best sleep I'd had in ages. So much so that when I woke up, we had landed. In fact, the flight attendant informed me that we had landed over 2 hours ago, but they just waited for me to wake up. Nobody wanted to disturb my sleep. What kind of life is this? I thought. They all herded me into a black limo. When I looked back, they all bowed with happy smiles and tears on their faces, as if I had just served them the best food and given them the best massage. When it was the other way around. Why were these people so happy to be in my presence that they were crying? Why did it make them tear up just to touch me? I found out why when the limo driver stopped at our destination and the buff security guy opened my door. I was at a palace. There was no other way to describe it. A pathway lined with tall palm trees stretched before me. At the very end of it was a massive fountain surrounded by a lush garden that looked so out of place in the desert. And beyond that was 4 stories of the most intricate, most beautiful building I had ever seen in my life. Behind the mansion was a stretch of desert, just dunes of golden sand for as far as I could see. And camels. There were camels and all sorts of animals everywhere. Servants lined the path as well. The moment I stepped out of the car, they all shouted in unison, "Welcome home, Prince Amir!" And they bowed so low, I was afraid they would injure themselves. The security guy led me through the long walk up the palace. Then the main door opened and two people I'd never met before in my whole life began running down the marble steps, shouting my name. They hugged me and they peppered my face with kisses. "Amir, my sweet boy!" "Welcome home, son. We spent so many years looking for you." That was the moment I learned the true story behind it all. I was a prince born to a royal family, and when I was born, a maid who was in love with my father took me away. Because my father wouldn't love her back, she grew resentful. And to take revenge, she kidnapped me and flew me far, far away from my home. I thought she was my mother, and when she died in an accident, I fully thought I was orphaned. Everyone around me thought the same. But how we were all very, very wrong. My real family had been searching for me this whole time. And now, they finally found me. I was treated to everything I could never have in my old life. They gave me a bunch of expensive clothes and shoes and all the games I could ever want in my life. I got every single toy I've ever wanted. All the consoles and as many PCs as I could use. They threw a massive party where the whole kingdom was invited to celebrate their prince's return. All in a single week. But the most amazing part of it all? My father gifted me the most insane thing. A harem. See, in that kingdom, it was traditional for any man who had money to have one. And I was the prince, so only the best harem would do. I'm not even kidding. The moment Dad took off my blindfold and Mom opened the curtain that was hiding the girls, my jaw dropped. 10 of the most beautiful girls I have ever seen were laying on a huge couch before me, smiling, waving at me, blowing me kisses. Blondes, brunettes, redheads, jet black hair, all different girls in different shapes and sizes, and they all wanted me. My harem girls fed me, washed my clothes, tended to my every need. I lived my best life for an entire week. But after all that, something began bugging me. I felt like something was missing, and I knew what it was. I told my parents I'd be back soon. I just wanted to finish unfinished business back home. So they packed up an entire jet for me, and I flew back. You know what I was missing? Sweet, satisfying, cold revenge. In a life where I had everything, I wanted nothing more than to rub it in people's faces that they shouldn't have made fun of me. So, I rocked up to our school reunion looking like $1,000,000. I had gold dripping from my fingers. I had the latest, most expensive clothes on. And following me like a trail of fragrant fairies were my 10 harem girls and my security detail of hot operatives. Everyone stared. My fiancé lost her mind. Kyle and Dean, my bullies, were about to approach me to drag me into the boys' room again like they used to. But one look at me, and they froze. I made them bow and kneel, and they did. I broke off my engagement and told her to go find some other sugar daddy who was willing to put up with her crap. Everyone clapped. I feel like if I wasn't dripping in jewelry, people would have beat me up for embarrassing her like that. But they applauded. Every single person in that reunion worshipped me. All the people who mocked me suddenly wanted to be my friend. They all tried to get my autograph. I didn't, of course. I kept them all at arm's length. Or at least my security detail did. The boys gushed at the girls who followed me around. They asked me to introduce them. Instead, I just laughed and told them to give me all their money. They, of course, did what I said. Everyone did. I then set fire to all their money right in front of them. Just for fun. Was I being a douche? Yeah, I was. But I just wanted to give them all a taste of their very own medicine. Funny how the world works, isn't it? When you have nothing, people will spit at you and make fun of you. But the moment they hear that you're somebody, They will do anything you ask them to. I finished that evening by saying goodbye to my old life. I flew back to be with my parents again. Girls, boys, even the old faculty members followed me outside and begged me to stay. But I never went back there to make any friends. I just wanted them to see what I'd become. I was a prince. And now, they will forever regret that they ever made fun of me.
Please don't forget to share this podcast on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and so on. Thanks for your support. Check out our YouTube channel by clicking the link in this episode description. And also, kindly please rate and review this podcast. Bye.